Star, you shine your light in the dark of the night. Star, so far away, but you touch me by what you are. You're gonna keep on pushing, you're gonna go real far. And star, I see your name on a bright neon flame. Star, I know to you each town looks the same. You gotta keep on pushing, everybody gonna know your name. All right, welcome to the Doghouse, everybody. Singer-songwriter show straight from Nashville, Tennessee. And today I have with me a very special guest, Mr. Matt Steinhauer. How you doing, Matt?
I'm doing good, Stacy. Thanks for having me here today.
Oh, I love it. I'm glad you came out, made the trip out to the Doghouse, and going to share some of your original music with folks today.
Yep.
So,
I tell people that I have been sent to the Doghouse on numerous occasions. I've never been invited to the Doghouse.
Well,
this
there
is a
you
new
go.
treat for me.
Well, I'm glad you're here, and you got an open invitation to come back anytime. Just holler at me.
Right.
It comes in, handy in multiple ways
I'm
sometimes.
sure it does.
Yeah.
It does.
But anyway, all kidding aside here, Matt is a wonderful singer and songwriter. His songs are, you can tell when you hear them, they're from the heart, and you do a great job technically with your songwriting. Your guitar playing, it's got the full package, folks. So we're in for a real treat today. And as Matt goes through some of his original music with us. Thank you so much. So I've got a question for you here. What got you started with the music in the first place, Matt? What inspired you to get involved with music and everything?
When I was a child, my mom and dad had one of those stereo high fidelity players that you folded down like a suitcase, and the speakers folded out.
Yeah.
And I would listen to Frankie Lane and Peter, Paul and Mary, and I would play air guitar on the album covers. And so my parents gave me a baritone ukulele for Easter when I was in 4th grade.
Cool.
And I learned to play that summer, and then that following Christmas, when I was in 5th grade, I was given a 6-string guitar.
Okay.
And made the transition. That's really when I started playing the guitar, and started writing almost immediately after that.
Yeah, well, that's great. Well, I'll tell you what, songwriting is a fun thing and an intimate thing, and I think it's great. Anyone that writes poetry or writes songs, it's just something that if you haven't tried it, folks, try it.
And I really do believe, I think Julia Cameron, who wrote the book The Artist's Way, which is kind of a workbook to get creativity out of people, and that's the first place that I read the idea that we say we are created in God's image, and we don't really know what God's image is, but she says God was a creator, and so we all have this creative aspect to us, and I think there's a lot of truth in that.
You really hit on something. I'd never really thought of it that way, but you're right.
Yeah.
That's good. Wow. I have to think about that a little more. Yeah. Okay. I've got another question for you here. So how long have you been writing?
So I was in 5th grade when I started playing the guitar and singing and learning how to kind of perfect my craft. I was in a talent show in I think summer after my 5th grade that famous Nashville musician Harold Bradley had a little band, and they played backup for those of us who did the talent show thing.
I bet that was an experience.
It was just fun, and I didn't have a clue then, but now it's like, oh my gosh, I played with Harold Bradley. But my dad served in the state legislature in Tennessee, and my sister and I wrote a campaign song for him, and it would have been the summer of 1966. So that'll tell you how long I've been writing.
Yeah.
And as I got older, branched off into the sad love songs from having my heart broken in high school and those types of things. But I've been writing a long time, and in the last 3 or 4 years, just sort of reclaimed that because. As you know, as you get older and you have family and those types of obligations, and I don't do this for a living, so I have to find time to do it.
Yeah.
But about 3 or 4 years ago, kind of made a reconnection with it that I've been very grateful.
Well, that's great. That's great. And I know you, play around Nashville and played down at the Bluebird.
I've been there a couple of times.
Down at the Blue and Bobby's Idle Hour. I think you've been down there, and so I've heard your songs. And not all of them, but several. And I mean, I love them. They're just really good. They're put together so good and well, and you do such a good job, when you perform them.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. So I think with that, everybody would like to hear one of your songs here. So the first song that you are going to perform for us today is titled "Now Is the Time." Can you kind of tell me a little something about where that came from?
Yeah, I started doing songwriting workshops in February of 2015, and at one of those workshops, kind of found my singing and my writing voice. And I was at a class for spiritual direction just a year or so ago, and told the story of this, and that how I was a little upset that at my age I'm just now discovering this, and this young woman who was in the class with me, who was about my daughter's age, she really heard what I said, and she wrote me this kindest note of affirmation that she said, "You haven't missed it. Now is the time."
Wow.
And that really struck me, and I literally kept that with me for about a year in my journal, and I would think about that. And then my friend Robert Benson, who is an author, many time published author, who his kind of influence on that song is the idea that we don't tell our story so people will know us better. We tell our story so people will know themselves better.
Wow.
And so Susan O'Brien and Robert Benson are both co-writers on this song.
Wow, that's great. That's great. Well, thank you for sharing that with us. And without further ado, let's hear "Now Is the Time" by Matt Steinhauer.
The old man said to the young man, "Don't look back on your life the way I'm looking back on mine. There's lots of chances, take those chances. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. Don't hide your heart so it won't break. For everything there is a season, and a time for every story under heaven. A young man like you don't need a reason to say yes to the life that you've been given. The old man said to the young man, a life without some tears and pain is highly overrated. Take those chances with wild-eyed romances. Jump off that high ledge into cool water down below. For everything there is a season, and a time for every story under heaven. A young man like you don't need a reason to say yes to the life that you've been given. How many dreamers hold the key in their hand, but stand scared looking at the door? How many songs that should have been sung, hopes crash hard on the floor? The young man said to the old man, sometimes the best fruit has to ripen on the vine. Now is the time to sing and play your song. You never know who sings along, 'cause it's their story too. For everything there is a season, and a time for every life under heaven. An old man like you don't need the reason to say yes to the story you've been given.
All right. Well, great song, Matt.
Thank you.
Great song, man. That's a good one. That's a good message there too. You know that for everybody everybody can use that.
Well, I always say it's my song for anyone who's chasing a dream.
There you go.
That it's just never too late.
Yeah,
it never is too late.
Well, let me ask you another question here. Who's your favorite singer-songwriter out there?
You know, I have, over the number of years I've been learning wonderful singer-songwriter songs, because, you know, when you play the guitar, you kind of learn what other people who play the guitar and sing play. So, you know, Dan Fogelberg and John Denver and Gordon Lightfoot, that's what I kind of cut my teeth on growing up. But without question, my favorite is an artist named Beth Nielsen Chapman. Beth, I discovered her in the very early 1990s, and she wrote the hit "This Kiss," and she's had 7 number 1 country singles. Willie Nelson's last number 1. Beth Nielsen Chapman wrote it.
Wow.
And but the reason that I have been so drawn to her music is she writes out of this deep honesty. You know, we talked about songwriters writing their honest story out of some suffering in her own life, and it really connected with my own story. And so I really followed her, and actually have done a couple of songwriting workshops with her. And she is an absolute authentic and genuine person. And I think what drew me to her songwriting was, first, it is honest, and secondly, she does not waste a syllable in any of her lyrics. I mean, it's just really powerful, straightforward stuff. So she's my favorite.
Well, that's great. That's great. Well, I'll tell you what. It sounds like maybe you've been taking some of the stuff that she's used and applying it to
well,
some of your
I honestly
songs
would have to give her credit of showing me some things that were really pretty simple, but they're great practices to helping you be creative and helping you to craft a song.
Absolutely. Well, cool. Well, I'll tell you what, Matt, why don't we go ahead and get you to do another song here. I know everybody wants to hear it out there. Now, this next song is this a fairly new one that you've just finished?
This is new. I actually started it about a year ago, February of 2017, in a Mary Gaucher songwriting workshop.
Okay.
And she gave us a copy of Emma Lazarus's poem, The New Colossus, which is the poem that's on the Statue of Liberty. Okay. And she told us, go away for an hour and come back and share what you have.
Wow.
And cool. I actually was kind of angry because I have to be in my writing space, you know, to write. And I was there at this place where there were a bunch of people gathered. I couldn't find a quiet spot. And but actually, almost all of these lyrics came out there. But it took me until about, it was about a little over a year before I actually finished the song. And the tune is totally different. But this is my reflection on thinking about what Emma Lazarus wrote about the Statue of Liberty. It's called Lady Liberty Seas. Have you heard of Emma Lazarus, a great American writer? She penned with ink and feather words she hoped would be true forever. I know you've heard her words before. Give me your tired, give me your poor. But there was more that Emma said about the harbor lady with the crown. A mighty woman with a torch whose flame is the imprisoned lightning, and her name, Mother of Exiles. Today does liberty still see the same? I watched the steamship steaming in. I saw the dreaming dreamers land. Back in the day when they were welcome, they walked through the golden on Ellis Island, opened for all who would come into this nation, into this nation. But now the dream is dying. Out the door their hopes are flying. In this richest land it puzzles me why they aren't welcome. A mother who is ripe with child, maybe Jesus meek and mild. No room for them again. He was an exile in his day. America turned him away. Even though they say a Christian nation, a Christian nation. But now the dream is dying. Out the door their hopes are flying. When I raise my lamp for all to see, nothing but sad faces, no more welcome places. In this richest land it puzzles me why they aren't welcome.
Right, Matt, I love that song.
Yeah, I thought Through the Eyes of Lady Liberty, but that's kind of long, so Lady Liberty Sees. Yeah, I read that poem, and I everybody's familiar with the "Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses." You know, that's the common line that people remember off of that poem. But there's a line in there, and her name is Mother of Exiles. From her beacon hand glows a worldwide welcome. And so I really I've seen, if you've ever been in that harbor and been on the tour where you go to Ellis Island and you see that statue from the water, which is where so many of the immigrants from years ago would have seen it from. It is just powerful. And I really think that we are called to to love our neighbor, and sometimes loving our neighbor means that we sacrifice and give up some things for our own good.
That's right.
And so I was just struck by that, and very grateful that Mary Gaucher challenged us to do that. And I did it in an hour, and when we got done, she kind of said, "Don't ever say you don't have enough time to write a song," because a lot of us in that class cranked out some pretty decent lyrics.
You cranked a good one out right there.
You.
That is a great song. I love it, man. And let me ask you another question here. And I know as songwriters, we don't just listen to our own music all the time, but so what's a song out there that you've heard that you wish you'd written, Matt?
Yeah. A lot of my songwriters are people that you wouldn't probably know them unless you heard one of their hits, like "Please Come to Boston," which David Loggins, big hit.
Yeah, big hit.
David Loggins wrote a lot of songs, and in the late '70s, early '80s, he had an album called "One Way Ticket to Paradise," and there was a song, kind of a 2-song set, that the first song in it was called "Ship in a Bottle." And the scene that he paints with the song is an American sailor on a foreign shore, there to serve his country in time of war. And his desire, he wishes that he was a ship in a bottle, sailing away, instead of a stamp on the letter, to his love back home. And it's just a beautiful story. And I've always thought, when I go into a beach bar or somewhere where there's live music, and thinking, man, if you would just learn that song, because it really is, it's powerful. "Ship in a Bottle." I really wish I had written that song.
Well, I think you're on to something. You might need to go to a beach.
I'm for that.
Yeah, so there's your excuse right there.
You go.
You can thank me for that.
I'll learn that song and play it live at
there you go.
Some beautiful sunset beach somewhere.
That's great. Well, that's a cool song. Thanks for sharing that with us. Yeah.
Thanks.
All right. Well, I guess we got time for one more of your original songs, and now this song, the title of it is "Do You Love Me Like I Love You?"
Yeah.
And tell us.
Over the course of some classes I took to go back and get my bachelor's degree, it was a few years back, but I took a spiritual autobiography class, and so we had to write our own spiritual autobiography, and so I had done that a couple of times. And when I took one of the songwriting workshops, I went home and just put to practice what I had learned.
Right.
And this came out of it. This is literally the story. My wife and I, Leanne, have been married for 34 years.
Great.
And we have 3 children, and this is the story, sort of our experience with our children. And it's called "Do You Love Me Like I Love You?"
All right. Well, I can't wait to hear it.
All right. Please
Please enjoy this song by Matt Steinhauer.
When we started out, we both were young. The road ahead went on and on, not a single hill or a twisting turn was there to slow us down. Life came fast and a daddy's girl rounded out our perfect world. She made us more than we had dreamed, better than we'd ever schemed, better than we'd ever schemed. Do you love me? Do you love me? Do you love me like I love you? Like I love you? Like I love you? Before you know, we're back again. The doctor says you're having twins. I'd be outnumbered 4 to 1, but that's just fine by me. like I love you, like I love you. Everybody says that three's a charm. Hopes and fears go arm in arm. When the way seems dark, sometimes you have to trust what lies ahead. The doctor says you got your son. Daddy's dreams have just begun. Better be prepared when you take him home. He's got an extra chromosome. He's got an extra chromosome. Do you love me? Do you love me? Do you love me? Like I love you, like I love you, like I love you. When we started out, we both were young. The road ahead went on and on. If we'd only known the hills and turns, you think we'd ever start? If I had to do it all again, I'd do it with you just the same. Even though the road was dark, your loving light, it filled my heart. Your loving light, it filled my heart. Do you love me? Do you love me? Do you love me? Like I love you, like I love you, like I love you.
All right. Great song, Matt.
Thank you.
Great song.
Thank you.
Do you love me like I love you? Well, that's great. That's great. It's a great song.
Thank you.
Well, I just want to tell you how much I appreciate you coming out here to the Doghouse today and spending a little time with me. And, as we record the show, I know everybody's going to love your songs.
Well, thank you. It's been a real treat, and you've got a real fun place here for a songwriter to come and be able to share their craft, and I think you will give lots of people great joy, both out of the performers that get to come, and then hopefully the people who will hear these songs that they may not have had an opportunity to hear any other way.
Well,
so thank you, Stacy, for doing this.
Well, thank you, Matt. I appreciate that. And that's a wrap for today's show. There's some contact information you've probably seen, and if you like one of the songs that Matt, if you want to get a hold of him, please do. Yep. And until next time, I'll see you later on down the road.
On the flip side.
Thank you, Matt.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good luck to the Doghouse.
Appreciate it.
Oh, I can't wait to see the Lord in heaven at the throne. Oh, how I long to hear him say, well done.
Well done, well done, well done.
Good and faithful servant. You have love that all can see. You have faith, it's in your soul. You have life for eternity. Jesus loves